Happy Monday, everyone. This is Vickie, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane. And we are here in September. I cannot believe it's September already. All right. Let me know when you're on. Put a comment up. Hi, Jean. Let me pop that over there for the time being. Hi, Lisa. So tonight we are playing with some Christmas. It's September. We can play with Christmas now. Although I don't like seeing too much Christmas stuff until after my birthday, but I'm not here for half of November, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to do Christmas if I don't start now. So this year I think I'm making exceptions that I don't normally make. But anyway, we are here playing with this. Did everyone have a good weekend? Let's get a few more people on. How cold was it today? We had a cracking weekend and it was nice and warm, and I got my summer PJs out. And then like Saturday night I froze, I think. And then last night it wasn't too bad. And then today it's been cold and miserable. So over the weekend I had a craft and connect session at my house where people come and do their own craft. Like I don't create anything or what, but it gives me time to create something for myself. So these are the cards that I did because I need to do the graduation cards for the school again. So I made these. Last year I made 7 different designs. This year I'm making one design but in red and blue because I need to get them done. So I think I did 25 of them. I carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3. 23 of them. I need to do another 30. I need to do 50, 52. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do that this weekend and then they're done. So that's what I did on the weekend. So I think it's 8:01. We might get started. So we're having a play with this set tonight. I have made a few things, or I have prepared a few things. So we're making a nice quick easy card to start with. Now there is 3 different trees on this. So I have stamped, so this is the pine tree, this is like the Christmas tree, and then you've got the little baubles which could be stamped on the tree. So what I found when I did these ones was I don't really like this one because I just bought a brand new Real Red ink pad. And that's because it was one of the few that I still had as like the old linen pads, and I wanted to make sure that I've got all the new style ink pads. So I replaced this one, and I think my Cajun Craze and what's that other yellow colour that's not Daffodil or Delight. So I only had 3 left to replace, and this was one of them. So anyway, I opened it up, and have I frozen? Oh no. Where's my comments? There we go. I opened it up, and stamped, and see how it's really dark, and then the second one was red. So this looks like more like cherry cobbler, and then so I'm not really liking that because of this, but this one's not too bad. It came in the same colors. But what I did find when you stamp this, because this is one stamp like this, as you get closer to the top, there's less room. So what I did find with this one over here was that I had some scraps here. I kind of got some scraps and stuck them on that so that I didn't stamp off. Or didn't stamp on the thing. Because yes, you end up cutting this out, but there's still a border around here, so I'm not sure whether you can see. And see, so if you don't like mask it when you're stamping these, then you're going to have a bauble that's all on the white, and it looks funny, I think. So anyway, that's my tip for using this. As you get closer to the top, you kind of want to mask that off. And I've just kind of alternated the stamp that you, hi Janice, so that you get a full stamp, not too many half ones. So I've done that. So we could use those, we need to cut them out, but this one we need to stamp directly onto the thing. This card, because it's a nice simple stamp. So I think I'm going to stamp, oh, I put him back, I think. This one. How does he have green on him? I haven't even stamped in green with this bloke. Anyway. So we will be stamping green now, I think. And just stamp in the middle. And then I think we'll stamp the sentiment as well with this one. Oh, Christmas tree, or from our house to yours, sending Christmas wishes. 'Tis the season. I think I might do 'tis the season, because I might do sending Christmas wishes on the other ones. It is so pretty. I like the stars. I need some more blocks. So I've got the world's biggest block for this sentiment. Hi Marie. So let's then put this one together. This is a simple card. We need to trim this down. So those of us, or excuse me, those of you that have attended the retreat previously, the emails have gone out with the price and payment details. And then I think towards the end of the week, if we have spots left, we will open it up to people who haven't been before. So the VIP registration is opened for those that have previously attended. Thank you, Christina. And then the last day to register for my September class is today as well. I need to get those kits out. So that is for the Kintsugi class. I think I want just a little smidgen of that done off again. So that, if you are interested in that, will need to be done as well. So we are going to pop this one on here. Now I was going to get some twine or something. Oh, I was going to stamp another tree. Another tree. I'm going to stamp a different tree. Oh, lucky that didn't fall on there. That would have annoyed me. I'm going to do a second generation stamp there of a faded tree. Hi, Megan. So that then goes on here. Did you see that? At least that didn't land sticky side down. Then I'm using this paper. It's my new favourite paper. Christmas Tags and More paper 6x6. So all these supplies are going to be available when the catalogue goes live, or the online exclusives go live to customers, which is on the 3rd. Did have a customer wishing to place an order today, being the 1st, and I'm like, yep. And then I went to do it and it's nope, not available till the 3rd. So that's all right. Got a couple more days to add a few things to your lists. Do we just pay into your account for the retreat? Yes. It's $170, Marie. Same price as last year, which is good. We were trying to keep it the same price. Right. Get some dimensionals. We can pop that up. So this piece here is 3x4, and the rest, like this is just a normal card front and it's folded back on itself. And then I just cut down the sentiment to fit, like so there's not too much of a border, depending on what sentiment you want in there. So we will come back and do gems because we have to do gems on everything. So that's our first card done. How nice is that? Boy, was I in trouble when I got home on the weekend. That's what happens when you have play dates. September class is 35, Marie. Okay, so then the next card I'm making is a shake card. So, bone folder. Yes, this is the Tags and More paper. I do love this paper. Okay, so we're making one of those easy shaker cards, and how I've determined the size of the paper in here is from my Cello bag. So you can get these from Stampin' Up, you can get them from the $2 shop. You have your Cello bag, and I put it in here like this. So that is how I've determined the size of my paper. And it fits behind here. We also want these. Hi, Glenda. We get these gold shaker stars. These are what I think I might be putting as bling. Oh, these, I don't know. They might be a bit tiny and annoying me a little bit. Hi, Renee. So I have a whole heap of these spoons, which you used to get from Qantas, and every time I travelled I would keep them because I don't have tea or coffee. But Qantas no longer give out these spoons, so if you have them, hold on to them like hen's teeth because they're amazing for things like this. You want to make sure you get them at the front on top of the paper because otherwise it's a bit pointless. There's some behind there, but we won't see too many of them. Okay, in front of the paper, and you want enough in there so that you can see them and they're not in there, and really you get a lifetime supply in here. So this is my third spoonful in here. I'm just going to put the lid on because I don't want shaker stars everywhere. And then the way this goes, fold this over and then stick this down and shake a card in there. I probably should have put the paper in the other way, so it went the other way, but it'll be hidden. Only you will know that I've stuffed up. And this is staticky and sticking to me. So fold that over as much as possible. And we can even fold it over again, so maybe I didn't stuff up because it still tags underneath. Okay, so that is sealed shut. Shake it in there. We have a soft sea foam, which is the paper in there. We have this on here. So stick that down, and then this goes over with dimensionals. Right. So let's stick this down. Now, I think I'm going to, there is a little star stamp in here. And I've got this cute little block. I don't think Stampin' Up sell this size anymore. But I'm going to stamp in red. And we're going to have red stars. Well, it's in this paper. I don't usually use a lot of it, but it is in this paper. So I'm going to randomly stamp red stars on here. And I am going to stamp one on the tree there. and probably one there and there. Close that up. Thank you, Marie. So then we need to stick this down. Now, I do just get a bit of like tape where I folded that over and just, there's plenty of room here that I know it's not, you're not going to see that. So I am just going to stick that like that, just to hold those two bits together. And I'm going to do the same on the bottom as well. All right, because you're not going to see that in there. And then we're going to stick this down. I'm going to use double-sided tape because I don't know how seal will go on here. I know double-sided tape will work. We're going to make sure that's stuck down really good. And where is my pokey tool? Can anyone see it? It's over here. Okay. So kind of stick that in the middle like that. Then this goes over like that. And this we're going to have foam tape on. Now, I think I am out of... Nope, I've got Stampin' Up! Foam tape here. I think this was a kit of something. And because the shaker is sealed in the plastic here, you don't actually need to make sure that these are all lined up. So usually when you do a shaker card, if you just use the foam dots without the plastic bag, then you have to make sure that there's no gaps here for your shakers to go walkabout. So you wouldn't be able to have this little gap here. That's not going to matter on my card because we're in a cello bag. Okay. You still want to go around and make sure that it all is going to be stuck, but it doesn't need to be no gaps stuck, if you get what I mean. So now we can peel these bits off. Oh, come on. Backing didn't want to come off that. So you can use dimensionals if you want, but you would use 3,000 of them, whereas Stampin' Up! Has this foam tape, foam adhesive strips that are built just for shaker cards. And by only just doing the thin tape, then you're ensuring that this is stuck onto, should be stuck onto the card, not the shaker bit. And now we just need a sentiment, which I think that was what that piece was for, but that seems excessive. Can we stamp on here? What do we have here? 'Tis the season. No, I think I want the other one because I want the longer one. We'll do Oh Christmas Tree on this one. Oh Christmas Tree. And we'll stick that down this side. And we'll need a longer piece, but is that a wide enough piece? That is. We'll stamp in red. I was listening to somebody the other day and they think when you stamp in red it's a bit aggressive for a sentiment, and I'm like, oh, I've never thought of that, but I can't remember who it was. but they didn't stamp in sentiments in red because they thought it was too aggressive. I'm like, but it's Christmas. Ah, I've got goobers on the back of that one. Why didn't anyone say anything? Is this one going to be wide enough? This is what happens when I craft on my own. No one here to tell me. Oh, that could fall. On my other prepared card over here, that could be dangerous. This one's better, no goobers. I'm just gonna stamp that like that. And we're just gonna have glue dots on that. I don't think we want to pop that up anymore. Oh, that glue dot popped off somewhere and I heard it hit my bench over here, but I can't see it. I'll stick my hand in it or cardstock somewhere and it'll get stuck. Can't believe how it just popped off. Okay, so then that can go over here like that. Oh, isn't that a nice little simple card? I feel I would probably prefer a darker background than soft seafoam, but I didn't want to, like I went with the paper. So if you got a different paper, different background. So that's our second card. Sue and I did the other day, but you declined because you said we would spoil our little friend too much. Yes. Yes. Okay, so the next one is a big shaker card. And so this one you need to fit. How am I doing this one? I've got to remember how I'm going to do this one. So that goes on there like that. That goes in and the shaker fits in there, which means it can be that way. Yep. So we are going to fill this bag again. And then when we fold this over, just want to make sure that this fits snugly in there. And so when we fold that over, let's have this down on this side. And you seal the bag first and then you can stick the bag to the bits. So you want to make sure the bag is sealed. But when that comes back around, is that going to be showing? Because we don't want to see that. But if we seal back here, too much, but we can fold that then over on itself like that. So let's do that because that'll be safer. Okay, so we fold this over. I've got so much static. What? Did anyone else get like rain? And it was freezing today. Freezing, freezing, freezing. I'm back in long sleeves again. Okay, so now let's get some double-sided tape. Where did I put that? And we will put that along here. So I'm showing you a few different ways that you can do shaker cards. And pop this up. Now, where did we put that? Right. So we want to stick that down. Ah, I moved my finger. Oh. So annoying. I was in theatre all day, came out, it was wet, and yeah, it was freezing today. I moved my finger again. Okay, stick that down, that there, and then that's now stuck there, but we need to bring this over. So we need some double-sided tape. There. And there. And I'm going to stick some in under here. Stick some there. And then, oh, the back came out. Then take the backing off that. And that will then stick down on there too. Happy days. Now, just another little bit here to keep that down and to keep that one down. So obviously when you're doing this, you want to keep it all behind the frame so that you don't see the frame. And then this okay, so this, oh, let's put the lid on these before that could end up in disaster. Where is my seal? Up here. I think this plaid paper is my favourite, but I'm trying not to use it all the time. Oh, come on. There. And so you want this still popped up so that it can shake, because if you stick this down, then there's not a lot of room for it to shake. Shake, shake, shake. So we need to bring back our foam things. And again, because we have sealed the bag, we don't have to make sure everything is covered, just that it's going to adhere. So It doesn't matter if there's slight little gaps. I probably will fill that in. That seems a bit excessive of a gap there. Pop that over there. Now peel these off. I find when you make shaker cards without the cello bags, that eventually, somehow, things weevil their way out. Even if you've only got that tiny little gap, then they end up everywhere. So I find this is a much, much safer option. Da, da, da. Okay, so that's on there. Now, I was going to have 2 trees on here. Hi, Tenny! But I'm thinking I'm only going to have 1 tree. And maybe just this tree that I've already cut out. Or do I want this tree? And so in part of the dies, you get some bits. That's what I'm going to do because it'll tie in with the gold. You get this little garland piece. So I cut out 2 of them in gold paper. And I worked out you can have 1 there. And then 1 other piece you cut there, like you cut there and then there again. So that you only need to cut 2 pieces. You cut that at 4 and stick that on, and then stick this one on at 3. And how good's that? So you've got bits on there, and oh, I didn't do an extra star. But we will have to cut that, stick that. So we'll probably need little tweezers. Come on. Right. I'm going to stick a glue on these as well, so it has a bit of a time to adhere. And then get my tweezers because I've got fat fingers, and pop that down there. And then this one to go across there. And this one to go there. Right, so while that's drying, I think we need a sentiment for that. And this one is probably going to be sending Christmas wishes. I need another block. I do have this piece cut out, but is there this piece, will that fit? That will fit and be not wasting so much paper. I wonder if flip-flaps would work for the shaker cards. I've never actually seen one in real life, but they seal too. Yes, I just find they would be quite expensive. Janice, I think they would work just fine, but I think cello bags are cheaper. But if you didn't have any, I've got flip-flops I can show you. I just feel they're not a very cost-effective option. Now, where did my flip-flops go, actually? I think I put them in this drawer here. I did a bit of a clean-up over the weekend. So here are my flip-flops. But I just don't think they're very... and I don't know that they would seal 100%. This one's been open. So see, with these ones, these are the 3x4, and so you get some that seal at the top and some that are seal at the bottom, or seal at the side. And so they flip over, but they're designed to flip over that way because the adhesive is that side, so that they flip up and back. And but if you flip them over this way, they would seal. But then you've also got that adhesive behind there, so you'd want to make sure that you stuck some paper behind there. But this would be a good, like, it's already done as a 3x4 and would fit in there. Not quite. You'd want to make that a bit shorter, but fits in there nicely. And it probably does seal properly with that closed, but I've not tried to stick anything in there. But it's not as cost effective as normal cello bags. But yes, certainly an idea. Oh, that's stuck down there now. Okay, so that can go there. And then this one, we need my little trimmer back to trim him down. And maybe sending Christmas wishes can be up the top there. Yes. All right, and we're just going to stick this down. We're not going to pop him up anymore. So stick him with seal up the top and make sure he's sticking to the cardboard, not the plastic. And then this one, and I might just get a glue dot to, where are my glue dots? To stick him under this side. And maybe just the point there as well. So there's that one. So that's our third card. Just trying to squash that down a little bit there. That's where the cello bag overlaps. There it's just a bit poppy for me. But second shaker card and third card done. And then the next card is, I've made such a mess, is a spinner card. Oh, what was I gonna do? No, because there's also these domes, and I was gonna show you these. Was that what I was gonna do on this one? I'll have to do another one now. Damn it. Okay, so Oh, my little pile of stuff has come crashing down here. Right, need some more paper. Let me, am I going to do it on paper? I had everything all planned and I've stuffed it up. Because I got excited. Looks like we were we're making 5 cards because I've already got the 4th card here, but that's not what I was planning on doing. Okay, let's do the 4th card so I can get rid of everything that's here for that. And then if people want to stick around for the 5th card and show you how to do the domes, we'll do that. Right. So I am making, or maybe I can include that with this and do 2. I think it might be a bit much for the card. Let's not do that. I did initially think that and then I stopped it. So we've got a normal card front, normal card base here. That is going on the card. This is just embossed with the on a roll. 5 cards. Yes. On a roll, but I will be over the hour because this is going to take more than 15 minutes. And I've just added adhesive everywhere, which is going to hinder my ability. But anyway, we will do it. Does that little tree paper, does that little tree in the paper work with the dome? What tree? Tree in the paper. It's too small. It's not meant for it. It's a bit small. Okay, so that's the front of the card. We've just embossed that with the plaid embossing folder. Now, we're going to make a spin a bit. But so then I've got an insert into the card. Now this is a 1/4 of an inch smaller on the top, bottom and sides and scored at 4. So instead of this being 8 1/4, like the length of a piece of cardstock, it's only 8. And so scored at 4. And so let's just put one side in, line it up with the score line. Should have like an even border around there, and then you can shut the card, fold it in, and ta-da! Let's just get the bone folder in there and give that a good old crease. I was hoping that would sit flat, but not quite. Anyway, that will work. So then the other half of the cardstock, when you cut your card base, is left with this bit here. And so what I am doing is I'm going to trim that down to 5 3/4, which should be... No, we're going to trim that down to 5 5/8. Yes, 5 5/8. And so this is still the length of the cards, the width of a normal A4 piece. So it's 8 1/4 or whatever it is. So that's still that length. And what we are going to do is we're going to score it at 2 inches, score not cut, flip that around and score at 2 inches, And then we're going to score at this in half, which is 10.5 centimetres, or like 4 1/8 and a bit. But I usually, half a piece of cardstock is done at 10.5 centimetres. So then you fold that in half, fold these two back like that. That's what you want. Okay, so then with this, we want to line up the score line with, what did I end up doing? With 1 inch. So line up that score line with 1 inch. And you want to cut like a shadow box out of this type thing. So start where you think is like 1 inch down and cut to 1 inch up. You can measure it if you want, but I just cut that first. And yeah, that's about 1 inch, And then line this up with 1 inch and cut. And then you can turn that over, line that up with 1 inch and cut down to where that score line is. Now, if you haven't lined them up, then you just need to get your scissors and cut them so that this piece comes out. Now, I did go over there a little bit. It's all right. We'll cover it. And there. So I'm winging this and doing it quickly because I'm doing it on video. But if you don't want to wing it, you could measure it. And so now we have a frame in there. Right? And so that is going to sit nicely in there. And then when we close, it's still going to close in there. Happy days. I've got the bunted end of the cardstock here, but anyway. I've also got a piece of DSP that is going to fit in here, and I've scored it. So this is 4 something inches. What is that? 4 3/4. And it is 5 5/8. And then scored in half so that that will fit in here, and it should fit, line up with that white piece. Oh, I've got a tiny, tiny border up the top. But we're going to stick this down then too, because we need to stick this down first. And if we stick that in there so that it's in that fold line and close that, push on the back where there's no thing. Okay, so that goes there. Then we have some decorating pieces here, which is going to be, they're just white pieces and they're just 2 inches, and I've not cut them because I couldn't remember what size I was cutting that at. So that was, these will be 4 1/2. So 2 by 4 1/2. Oh, 1 7/8 by 4 1/2. Because you scored it 2 inches. But before we stick them down, we are going to stamp. See, I need more blocks. We're going to stamp some presents. Let's clean this one off. Five and a half. Ah, probably 5 1/2, not 4 1/2. Yes. Soz. I'm going to have to put that stamp there. Now, we have one there. And so I've only got red and green out. So let's stamp red presents. And then, does this green one actually fit on this block too? Because that would be ideal. Yes, the green one will fit on that block too. Let's take that off for the time being though. And then stamp that in red this way and red this way, and then where did that stamp go? The red really stains your stamps, so if you're scared of that, stamp in Versamark first. But to me, they're just well used stamps then. Then get the green, and we're going to stamp that on the top of that, that on the top of that. Now, there is some a bow as well. Look, I've used nearly every stamp set in here tonight. That's good. So let's stamp the green first, because then I can go over with the red and not have to clean my stamp. Everyone's probably cringing, but because it's darker you can. Oh, I do like the bows. They kind of make it. So what does this sentiment say that I haven't used? From our house to yours. I am going to use it, and that can go there. Let's stamp this in green, so it's not so aggressive. There. And whilst we've got stamping, I need to stamp a sentiment at the front, which I think we can use this. And that was what I was going to use. Oh, shit. I've got too many stamps on blocks. Where's Julie? She would be loving the fact about how many blocks I've got out. It does make things a tad bit quicker when I am double, triple mounting and whatever, but I feel I can get into a bit of a pickle here as well. So now I also need 2 trees that are the same. And I was just going to do these 2 pine trees, which we haven't die cut yet. That's right. Okay, so I will show you how to die cut. tree. It's not hard. So I've just stamped them in that. Oh. That's that one. I think I've got a sneeze. Oh, bless me. Oops, nearly lost the iPad then. Okay, so they're die cut. They're nice and simple. Put that over there. Now, I need some twine, and I think we're just going to use white twine. It's really thin white twine. I've got some thicker white twine stuff. That's a bit thicker, I think. So what we need to do is we need to stick these two trees together and have the twine running between them. So you need to have that on there. And that on there. Thank you, Megan. So line that up. And you want that in there. Now, I also have got decorations. So I cut out some more. Oh, that's not those. That's right. They're for something. They were going to go on here. Up the top. Do you think I need them, or do you think the tree needs some decorations? I might add them later. The tree needs some decorations now. Okay, the tree needs some decorations. Why is this one not? Oh yeah, because I'm not going to have enough. I'm going to need to cut more of them. Maybe that's not right. Okay, I cut 2 presents in the gold. And that's going to be my tree base, like so that it's got something to be in, like a box type thing. So that's that idea. Oh. Yes, I do think the tree needs some decorations too, Megan. Just don't do. Okay, let's. This probably should have been a video all on its own, but that's okay. There, and then I've die cut the 2 stars as well. And so we're going to have stars on the tree too. I think the die cut moved there. It seems to be a bit skew-iff. Now line up the stars. And ribbon scissors. Now I can decorate one side of the tree, but the other side will have to wait. I'll have to die cut that afterwards. I'm not going to have time to do that right now. But you get the gist. Because I will probably die cut more of these then as well and decorate the insides like I had originally intended. One, two. Need to clean my tweezers. They got glue on them. I can feel them catching. 3. So you want the tree decorated the front and the back the same. Now this needs to be trimmed down. Although, what have I got on the front? Sending Christmas wishes. So let's put this together. This and this gets stuck down here. Wow, looked up and saw green glue. Jeez, it's all happening. Yeah, to stick the garland on, you need green glue. I don't like it, but you need it. So then I have got, you could use DSP if you wanted to, but I've just got 4 pieces. There. Oh, with that base, it's a tight fit in there now. Oh. It will work, but it will only just work with that base. I should have measured it after I'd done the base, but anyway, I thought the base would be nice. Nice little touch, but you might want to make your hole a bit bigger if you're doing the base as well, because it is going to be a bit of a tight fit. Okay, so before you stick this down, you want to then have your tree on here. And you want to kind of twist twist it, stick it on. I usually just use double-sided tape. Did I finish that other double-sided tape? No, it's over here. So you want to make sure it's twisted. And it's going to be a tight, tight fit on that school line there. All right. And having that there as well. Okay, so then you want to cut your little bits off so that nobody sees. And when you hold that up, it kind of spins. Now, if you didn't have the base there, it would probably spin a little bit more freely, but I've added the base there and didn't measure it. You might want to make your hole a bit bigger. So then when you stick this down, you only want to stick these bits down. And you want to line it up. So you could stick adhesive just on one side if you want first, until you get the side. But you want to line it up that you've got like an even border with the white right to the edge. And then you do the same with this side. And it just sticks out just a little bit. Damn it. In my head it worked so well. So this should be back just a little bit more so that when it's flat you don't see it, and then when you open it up it's swinging in there. And maybe I need some white panels there too, which I don't have. Cover that green. And so then the idea is that we stick a tree on the front. Maybe this tree. Sending Christmas wishes. I don't know. I don't know. I need something on the front. Maybe I need this and have that and just stamp the tree on there so that there's something else, although that is really crappy. I think that would work better. And we stamp the tree on the front. And I'm thinking I'm going to stamp the star tree because I don't like those decorations. And we get another piece of green because I don't like how that green cut. So I don't think we'll make the tree dome card. Or should I stick the tree dome on here? I'll stick the tree dome on this one, and then it'll be like a full-on card. The tree dome can go on the front of that. It'll be both of them because now I'm not happy with that. But you get the gist. You get the gist of how it works. that goes on there. So then you get your die and you cut that out. Stick your tree in the middle. Cut that out, use that on something else. And then you stick this in here. And it's got some sticky on both sides. So it is, are we going to do it? I think it's easier if we do it this way. So we stick this in the middle of the card. And then we get, oh, so these have sticky on both sides. So you pull that sticky bit up on this side, and then when you pop that through your cutout piece, you stick that on. So then that's stuck to that piece, and then you need to stick it to your card. So then you take this bit off, and you've got your adhesive bits there, and they should all stay within, like, make sure that they're all within the frame bit. And then you've got a tiny little border, 1/8 of an inch border like normal. Stick that down, and then just make sure you stick that down, and then ta-da! And then that can go on here like that. Just flat. I'm going to use double-sided tape because now you've got a shaker dome on there, you can't get your seal on there. Struggling to even get double-sided tape on there. And then you stick your tree on here like that. So even if you didn't make this a shaker card, spinner card, you could just have this as a shaker card and then have that down there. I think that needs a green border on that. They're my ribbon scissors, and I'm just going to trim this. Right, and then we can stick that up with dimensionals. I have made such a mess here tonight. Okay, that goes there. So if that sat in there nicely and was maybe a skinnier tree, or if this wasn't quite as wide, this score line here, so maybe if this was, how I would fix that, because that's really annoying me, is if that wasn't 8 1/4 inches, maybe if that was 8 inches, I'd have to rejig those measurements. Because see, it worked in my sample because I didn't have the base and I did a skinnier thing, which I didn't like. So I made this wider, but anyway. So that is that. Use heaps of shaker cards. We need to put some bling on these, which I don't know what bling we're going to use because we've got gold. But we've got these. These are probably not current anymore, but this is gold. Oh, this is gold too. I wonder if these are still current. They're nice gold. What are these? Low profile dots. Night, Kerry. Thanks for watching, ladies. I like these. These don't stick up too much. I don't know whether they're current, but they work. They come in the pink and the gold. They've got bling. They can have gold rhinestone up there. Oh. And there, and then this one. So I'll have to hand deliver this card to somebody now because it won't fit in an envelope because I've screwed it up. But it still looks lovely and you get the idea, and I will work out measurements and maybe post on my page as to how to fix that so that that doesn't happen if you want to replicate this card. So thank you everyone for joining. Hope you learnt something and added a few things to your wish list because that's what I'm all about. And I will see you. Don't think they're current. Well, some gold rhinestones that are current, but they're the ones that I used. And I now need to try and clean up this mess. But thank you everyone, and I hope you had a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.